I remember there was a time when we was kings and queens, prophets and rulers, judging the earth. But now we stuck at the bottom of the totem pole. Where did we go wrong as a people? I think our people need to understand this with a wake-up call and give them understanding of what's going on. So bring it.
Early morning, rise up, open your eyes up, looking in the mirror, it gets no clearer. Cause we don't understand our own selves, drowning in sorrow with empty Hennessy bottles upon the shelf. Cause everybody wanna be a king, selling out their soul for this mean green cream thing. Paper chasing, but not facing the facts that as a nation, we all done got lax and letting the devil control us. And thinking like them damn Africans, they sold us. We in captivity because they hold us. Working hard with heavy burdens on our shoulders. Man, I thought we were some soldiers, but every second that I look, we getting creepy.
Okay, Shalom Israel.
Shalom.
Welcome to Shabbat morning class with the Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. We're live here every Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturday mornings. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get Shabbat morning class started. Sabbath night, or I should say Sabbath, the beginning of the Sabbath class was good last night. A lot of good questions come out, man. I'm liking the questions that are coming out. They're not the same. I think we got the Mark of the Beast question again. It's a common question, but still good questions came out last night. We're going to get started with questions. We'll give our little announcements. Try to give y'all time to get online. And so we have classes here Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 10. Fridays from 6 to 9. And then Shabbat morning class 10 to whenever we get done. We're going to try to get done a little early today. Excuse me. We're going to try to get done a little early today because we are going street speaking. We also have classes in San Antonio, Texas, which are at 4219 Center Gate Street, San Antonio, Texas, 78217. All right, Albuquerque. We have classes out there, 501 Copper Avenue, Northwest Albuquerque, New Mexico. We have classes in Trinidad, okay? 17 Jacamar Street, Fanny Village, Point Fortin, okay, Trinidad. Hanukkah is coming up from the 11th to the 18th, okay? Hanukkah is coming up from the 11th to the 18th, so we want to make everybody aware of that, all right? So we are not going to be having any class. We're not going to be having any class from the 11th to the 18th, so we can go ahead and celebrate the high holy days, okay? So just giving y'all the up and ups on that. We're not going to be having class on those days, all right? Kids class is every Sunday from 11 to 12. Kids class is going good. We got a few younger children in here, you know, maybe 3, 4, but the kids are getting big, so we're touching on real topics that are able to address the kids in their schooling. One of the sisters from San Antonio, our other school out there, they were asking on doing a class on bullying. So I think the sisters are going to do that for the kids, class on bullying. All right, so just some real good things to look out. And don't play those classes short, man. They're done by the sisters, but those are to relate to the kids. So if you want classes for the kids, they're out there, okay? They're all online. Share them, like them, subscribe. Also, please check out our 5 Minutes of Wisdom. I just threw up another show on there. And we're going to be getting our cable show classes out again. Things just been a little hectic since we've been out of town, out of town. All right, what else we got here? You know my number. I'm Priest Kazaki. I'm 281-707-2737. If you have any questions or counsel you want, you can go ahead and hit me up. Dahawam's still in Trinidad. He's stranded. Nah, he's not stranded, but he's still out there. We got to get out there and get him back home. All right. Which we're going to be going back out there very soon, so he can get back out here and see his family. So what else? What else we got? Garments. We do the garments. Sisters do the garments. Israel Wear on Facebook if you guys do want a garment. All right. What else? All right. If you want to help out, if you want a garment, now's the time. Don't wait. Because it's going to get a point in time to where sisters are going to be like, "Nah, we're not doing any garments." Don't wait last minute. All right? Come get your garments done now. All right? If y'all want that. I mean, if you got your rib, she does garments for Rakatay Hawa. This is for people that don't have that access. All right? If you want to donate and you want to help out the school with the Passover, with our school, with any alms or offerings or anything, you can give. The information is on our Wells Fargo. It will be on the bottom of the screen. Or if you want to wallet any money, it's isbhpk@gmail.com. All right? So that's it for the announcements. We're going to go ahead and get ready for the reading. We'll go with questions first. And if nobody has any questions starting out, then we'll go with questions after. All right? Questions are good, man. Well, we do a lot of questions to get a lot of the stuff, whatever you got in your brain, whatever setbacks you got, the questions are you're supposed to be able to answer them. So we don't have any problem with y'all asking any questions. There's not going to be any threatening questions. We just ask that you come sensible with wisdom. All right? Otherwise, ask your questions. So we'll open it up for that. Does anybody have anything in here? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to know my question about the Israelite groups.
Yeah.
I'd like to know some of the Israelite groups' doctrine are different than other Israelite groups.
Okay.
Say, for instance, some say Cornelius is a Gentile, and others say he's a
Israelite.
Mm-hmm. That's what my question is about.
Right.
How do you tell if you're in the right Israelite group?
Well, well, I'll tell you like this. Go to, and hopefully y'all heard that online.
Did I speak loud enough?
I'm sure you did. Hopefully they heard you. Oh, we got to get that mic back out there. Two scriptures that come to mind. And, yeah, there are brothers, there are camps that have, some say that Cornelius was an Israelite, some say that he was an Edomite or a Gentile. And the fact that the thing is this, there's little doctrines that differ and that started to differ more as brothers separated. You know, like I always say when people ask about this question about camps and all that, I can tell you from my perspective, being around for a while, being in the truth for almost 30 years, like what has changed and what we taught originally. So, and even on this topic, I can tell you this, that going way back, this was a thing about, this was always a thing. It was always the thing. Listen, going back to Paul and Peter, it was a thing. So, is this going to be a determining factor? Well, I guess that got to be up to the individual. You know what I mean? Could you go in there and show that he's Israelite? Yeah. We teach he's Israelite.
I think he's a Gentile.
Huh?
I think he's a Gentile.
Some brothers go back with the Gentile thing. You know, my thing is, before we go into these scriptures is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the fact is this, that who are we going to teach? Who did the Most High say go teach? He didn't say go teach the Gentiles. He said go teach Israel. He didn't say the kingdom was for the Gentiles. He said the kingdom was for Israel. So, if you have a Gentile that, in saying that, if there was a Gentile that wanted to learn, we don't, nah, you can't come in. We don't do that. You know what I mean? So, but at the same time, scripturally, we think that Cornelius was an Israelite. You know? But go to, where is it? Go to Corinthians. But I can go back and forth. You know, when you go back in the days, and listen, there's many elders can account for this. That back in the days, we did have a Cornelius foundation. And at one time, it was voiced that Cornelius was a Gentile. And then as time came forward, it's kind of really, and I'm being straight up with you, and I'm being straight up with everybody. I can have Mashaba vouch for it. He's been in the truth 20 years. Barnabas vouch for it. I can have Awarnai vouch for it. These are all brothers that have been around 20 plus years. Huh?
Who you saying?
No, these are all brothers in San Antonio, affiliated with the with our school, the West Coast camps, and you know, and Zabak, I think maybe Zabak could probably vouch for it. That at a certain time, it was brothers on it was back and forth. Brothers were going back and forth on it. You know, was he or was he not? You see what I'm saying? So, the thing is that I keep saying that now there's other things that has changed due to men leaving. That is one of the things that has constantly been a back and forth, you know. So, yeah. Yeah. Go to... Yeah, 1 Corinthians 13 and 9.
1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 9.
Right. 1 Corinthians 13 and 9.
All right. It says, for we know the part, and we prophesy in part.
Uh-huh.
But when that which is perfect is come,
right,
then that which is in part shall be done away.
So, that's the facts. That we know in part, we prophesy in part. You know, we could go back and forth about that all day, you know, and now we got other brothers that came about, and this is within the last 5 years, that says Ruth is an Israelite, when we never taught that. You know, we never taught Ruth was an Israelite. We knew she was a woman of another nation. I mean, so as we go on, you start to see, like even Uriah the Hittite. I never heard my elders say that Uriah was a Israelite. I never heard that, but I'm sure brothers are going to start saying those were Israelites, if they're not already saying it. So, you know, it's a touchy situation when it comes to the Israelites, the Israelite, these Gentiles. You know, they're starting to conform everybody to be in Israel. And the simple fact is this: no, they're not. A lot of these people were Gentiles, and we dealt with the Gentiles. And it didn't take anything away from us dealing with the Gentiles. It didn't make us, it don't make us less of a people. We just knew how to deal with the Gentiles. So I think that's where that comes from, is that, you know, as we keep transitioning and moving forward in the truth, it's like they're trying to make everybody an Israelite. When you got a lot of Gentiles, like even like it tells you in Hebrews about, what's her name that let Israel in? Israel into Joshua in? Rahab the harlot? I mean, she was a Gentile, but she's known in the scriptures by her faith, right? So it's things like that that I think on both sides doesn't take away that yeah, there will be Gentiles that hear the word and that will submit to the word. But it still don't take away that they're going into captivity. So, and I think that's where the balance is weighing. Brothers are trying to stay consistent with the scriptures, as far as the scriptures are saying they're going to go in captivity, right? But they're not looking at, yeah, they're going into captivity, but there was still Gentiles that submitted, that will just come bending, right? They will come bending unto you. So, and you got a lot of that now. You got a lot of Israelites trying to, I'm pro-Israel, but it's getting to the point where they're changing a lot of things so it can be all Israel. When no, it can't be like that. So that's how I look at it. Scripturally, you know, we could go, like I said, the Ruth thing, that's a no-brainer. Rahab thing is a no-brainer. Uriah the Hittite is a no-brainer. But I've heard cats going back and forth with that. You see what I'm saying? So what does it come down to? Who did Christ say go teach? He said go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You see, so when we get into those things, I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth, because we know in part and we prophesy in part. Because the simple fact is that, yeah, you got a lot of Israelites that took on the Gentile names, were in the Gentile mind, right? So you have that too. So you got that equation there, that a lot of Israelites took on the Gentile identity, right? So now you got brothers looking at it from that standpoint and trying to make sure, well, is this man a Gentile or Israelite? You see? So, I mean, we could go back and forth on this, man. I'm sure a lot of brothers in camps do already. Yeah.
I was going to say, I wonder why, like, some people ask questions like about that same subject that y'all talking about.
Yeah.
But when you really read the scripture, like, the scripture, it answers itself. Like, when you read it in the context.
I wish it was that easy, but being that we go precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. Listen, I don't think the brothers that are saying Cornelius is a Gentile, I don't think they're like, I know certain camps, and we go to the summit with certain camps that say that, but at the same time, I can still congregate with them. You know, we might not see eye to eye on that, but you know, could they go in the scriptures and show it that he's a Gentile? Yeah, they can. They can. They can. So, and then you got brothers that can go to the scriptures and show that he is an Israelite. Based on that, we were scattered. You know, High Priest Yeshaya was speaking about a book about the Roman centurion, and he was speaking about specifically Cornelius, and talking about how these were straight Israelites. Shalom. These were straight Israelites. So, you know, you got historical evidence, then you got scripture evidence. So I wish it was that plain. But here's the point. Read it again.
Verse 9. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 9. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part.
Right. We know in part, and we prophesy in part. Go ahead.
But when that which is perfect is come,
right,
then that which is in part shall be done away.
Right. So we know in part and we prophesy in part. That's the simple fact. That all the revelations are not revealed in everything. You know, and it's gonna come more and more, you know, as we move forward. And some things are not made to be revealed. Y'all know that, right? Why? Why? You don't know why? Why?
Because the Most High wanted one man to have everything, and we wouldn't have had no need for Yahweh.
There you go. Say it again.
If the Most High wanted one man to know everything, we wouldn't have had need for Yahweh.
There you go. And we wouldn't have need for brotherhood. So, you know, we have brothers, you know, that are endowed, great men that are endowed with the wisdom in every part of the body, you know. But, and I'm talking about these men that have been around, they've been studying, they've been here, they've been putting in. I'm not talking about no part-time. I'm not giving credence to no part-time cats that is in and out the truth. They popping in the internet here and there. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about men that really been around for 30 years. You know, they're the only, to me, they're the only authority that can say anything on it. Why? Because the scriptures tell you about a man's senses being exercised. So if you're able to judge anything not being a novice, I'm going to look at your consistency across the board, right? Or else the scriptures say being a novice, you be puffed up. So the novice comes in when you're not able to even perform the basics of the scriptures, but swear you know the Bible. You're a novice. You know, it doesn't work like that. So go from there. Go to, man, my other... Where was that at?
I was at 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 9.
Right. Did you finish that?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, read down.
Verse, we jump to verse 12?
Uh-huh.
Verse 12. For now we see through a glass, darkly.
Right.
But then face to face.
Yeah. See, so now we see through a glass darkly. Meaning that everything ain't revealed as of yet, but it's gonna be revealed. And the other thing I was gonna add to what Jeremiah said was that it's like that because the Most High is gonna see how we're gonna deal with what we got, and how many are gonna be demonic and negative and fighting and envying. Which ones are gonna do that because their lack of clarity in things. You see that? Paul and Peter, they had to get to a point and we can go there. You remember that? What happened with Paul and Peter? No, we'll go there. But the reason I'm bringing Paul and Peter up is for people to think like, oh, it's a drawn line, brother. They're off, we're right. It's not as easy as that. Because if that was the case, Paul and Peter would have drew this line. You see that? Because even with Peter teaching the Gentiles, Paul teaching Israel that knew they were Israel. It was something when Paul was coming around, when Paul was around these brothers that knew he was teaching the Gentiles. The brothers that were rolling with Peter were acting a different way. So when we talk about this topic, Gentile thing, I can say that goes back to the Bible. That goes back to the scriptures. And we always had a problem with it. You know, dealing with the Gentiles. Remember, Moses' wife was a Gentile. She was an Ethiopian. And when Miriam was running her mouth, what the Most High do? You know, now, Moses just finished writing the laws on, listen, give not your daughters unto them, give not your sons unto their daughters. But then you got an Ethiopian wife? A Midianite wife? So, I know you're thinking, well, oh, things are cut and dry, but certain times the Most High let things go to happen. You know what I mean? So, we got to look at it through the scripture's eyes. Because everything ain't plain. Like the commandments say, and that's what it was supposed to be. Yeah, that's what it was supposed to be. But the fact is, the Most High let certain things pass. David had wives of different other nations. Solomon. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because the fact was, when you really get down to it, it was about they weren't supposed to drive you away to other gods and things of that nature. So, it was always a problem dealing with the Gentiles, right? Being around them. You know, even when the Most High said, listen, go wipe out the Gentiles. Go wipe them out. a lot of some of the Gentiles, the Hamites, were still there. They were still alive. You see that? You know, and of course we could go to scriptures and all these things, but I just wanted to, you know, just give you some common sense in the Bible, showing you that it ain't all the time cut and dry. The Most High leaves it that way, because He's the one that's going to clarify everything and give understanding in everything. I've never heard, ever heard somebody talk about Ruth was a Israelite just till 5 years ago. And I'm like, where the hell did they get this from? But this guy that's breaking it down, brothers are like, you should check that out. I'm like, why? I'm not going to start teaching Ruth is no Israelite. You know, it doesn't take away anything that the Gentiles come and learn. He said it's not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs. But yet and still he did what? He blessed her. You see? So it doesn't take none away from us because a Gentile is online and hearing the word. It doesn't take none away, though. It don't change the scriptures. No, none. It don't mean that now the Gentiles get to sit up in the kingdom with us and drink out of the same vase and all those things. It doesn't mean that. But I think that to some brothers, they're trying to put so far of a drift between it, you know, that now that becomes a battle for them. So we know in part, we prophesy in part, we see through a glass darkly. Go ahead.
But then face to face.
Right.
Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known.
Right. So, because Christ is going to reveal everything to us. Go to Isaiah 52:8. Isaiah 52:8.
Isaiah chapter 52, verse 8.
Isaiah 52. Let me get one of these. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Isaiah 52, verse 8. Thy watchmen shall lift up the voice. With the voice together shall they sing. For they shall see eye to eye when the Lord shall bring again Zion.
You see that? Now, they shall what?
See eye to eye.
When the
Lord shall bring again. When the Lord.
So everything right now ain't going to be revealed. Everything ain't meant to be revealed. Because the Spirit is got the one man will glory. One man will boast, but we can't boast, you know. That's why the Most High is doing how He's doing. And you have different bodies. Now, that's one thing. But when they started changing, just outright changing everything, that's something else. You got heresies, and then we know in part and we prophesy in part. So, y'all see that though, right? We shall see eye to eye when the Lord shall bring again Zion. We're going to be able to see and be clear and know what. When He brings us to that wilderness, the new wilderness, and when He pleads with us face to face, yeah, go there real quick. This is when a lot of these things are going to be purged out. A lot of things that are misunderstood. A lot of things that weren't clear. Christ is going to deal with all of it. So whoever of us has an ego to where we can't deal with charity and love and the Spirit because you know the lack of understanding, they're missing the point. The point is we got to raise Israel up. We got to teach our people and show them who they are. The Gentiles have their kingdom. They know who they are. They know their history. They know their identity. They even had the Bible. We don't. We didn't. We've been taught lies ever since. So it's about bringing our people back. Go ahead.
This is Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 35. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face.
Right.
Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith the Lord.
Right.
and I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
Right. You
And
see that? The rod is that correction. It's the law, but it's also him showing us that he's going to get us right. We're going to pass under that rod. He's going to correct us. He's going to correct everything we're doing wrong. The law, you know, he's going to put that law in our inward parts. He's going to, whatever things we had misconstrued, Christ is going to do that. So, when we go into that Cornelius thing, you know, like I said, yeah.
Oh, you finished?
Go ahead, yeah.
I want to say, you go to 2nd Ezra 14 and 42 to the end, like it show you why we don't all have the same understanding and why everybody is not going to have the same things too.
Right.
When you talk about, when you gave the 5 men the understanding, and then the man, he didn't go to sleep, and he had 3 scribes, and they was like taking turns like scribing. He spake for like so many days or whatever. They wrote 200 books, but they only gave a certain amount to, you know, to everybody, for the regular people here.
Right.
And he gave a certain amount of books to the wise men, and then there's a certain amount of books, like, you know, they just out there, you know.
Right.
And it was letting you know that, you know what I'm saying, it was just for certain people.
Right, right.
For certain people.
Yeah. Yeah. And once again, it's that everything that is supposed to be, like I said, what we got now, that the heresies that are coming out online is because brothers got no more guidance. It's to the point where, think about what point it's going to get to. You understand? Like, if you're not rooted and founded in the basics, think about what point it's going to get to within the next 10 years. But where you got, you know, you can't ejaculate into your wife. That's a doctrine. Well, it's not a doctrine. That's some madness some guy came out with, right?
Yeah.
You know, but you see what I'm saying? That if we listen to everything that pops up online and focus on that, then we're going to lose focus on what we're supposed to be doing, which is teaching our people. What up? Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 38. And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me.
Right. So that's what's going to happen, because Christ is going to do that. He's going to clarify everything. He's going to put everything in order. All right? Yeah.
And even with that about, you know, he'll purge out the rebels, but what most people have to understand is that this is whenever Yahushua comes and gets us, takes us, and brings us to the wilderness. So you've been saved here in America from destruction, but then you're going to another place to where you're about to be judged at. So it's like he's bringing Israelites that know him, but now he's going to purge out the rebels. Because why? Because they didn't learn the fruits of the Spirit that we had yesterday.
There you go.
Because their attention was on all this small, mediocre, non-important things. They didn't get their spirit right. They didn't understand how to deal with their brethren. They didn't understand how to have patience with him whenever his mind was going out of way. Whenever, you know, you had all these other spiritual issues going on, our people don't worry about it. We like the soap operas, we like the Jay-Z's, we like all that big stuff. But the more, they say the weightier matters, we don't pay attention to.
There you go.
That's heavy right there, man.
Yeah, the weightier matters, which is judgment, faith, right? See, charity, right? They're forgetting all those things. And that's what's going to get you in a lot of problems, because you didn't work on your spirit and cast off the old man. That's what he's going to be looking at. He's going to be looking at those things in you. So, all right. I mean, as far as that, I hope that helped out a little bit. All right. Anybody got any other questions? Nothing? Do we got anything online?
No, sir.
No? All right. We're going to do the reading, and then we'll go into... If anybody got any questions afterwards, we'll go into the reading. All right, so where are we at in the reading? And, we got 7? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get the first brother up then.
Yehuda, Bun Yasharala.
Jeremiah Shabbat Yahawadah Bun Yasha'ala.
Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Barakatah.
Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Barakatah. And for y'all that don't know what he's saying, he's just saying his name, his tribe, his nation. All right. So yeah, we're at Genesis 2.
Genesis chapter 32, verse 3. And all the people brake off golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron. And he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, These be thy goods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
Where you at? Oh, yeah. No, you're at the wrong. I was like, wait a minute. I was tripping. Sorry. We're going to rewind that. He was at Exodus. We're at Genesis 32, verse 3. I was like, wait a minute. We jumped. We missed a lot. All right, go ahead.
Genesis chapter 32 and verse 3. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother, unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, Thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau. Thy servant Jacob said thus, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. And I have oxen, and asses, flocks, and men servants, and women servants, and I have sent to tell my Lord, that I may find grace in thy sight. And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, We came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him.
Right, because of course Esau was angry, man. Esau was angry. Esau had a lot of hate. So Jacob was thinking, this cat's going to come and try to kill me. Go ahead.
And the flocks and herds and the camels into 2 bands, and said, If Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which said unto me, Return unto thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies, and of all the truth which thou hast shown unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over this Jordan, and now I am become 2 bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau. For I fear him, lest he will come and smite me, and the mother with the children. And thou sayest, I will surely do thee good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. And he lodged there that same night, and took of that which came to his hand a present for Esau his brother, 200 she-goats, and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 milk camels with their coats, 40 kine, and 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 foals. And he delivered them into the hand of his servants, every drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, Pass over before me, and put a space betwixt drove and drove. And he commanded the foremost, saying, when Esau, my brother, meeteth thee, and asketh thee, saying, whose art thou, and whither thou goest, and whither goest thou, and whose are these before thee? Then thou shalt say, they be thy servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau, and behold, also he is behind us.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? When you read this story, you can still see how Jacob was wanting to be the peaceful. You know, he wanted to come in a correct spirit, you know, not in this. And that's how our people are now. After everything the white man did to them, they're still willing to hug Esau, hold Esau, right? Yeah. That greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So the thing is that we got to understand that, especially what Esau has evolved to this generations is way more vindictive and hateful. You know, they're way more hateful in these generations. Right. So a lot of times you got to watch what you're doing and how you're dealing with these nations, especially with Esau. Go ahead.
And so commanded he the second and the third and all that followed the drove, saying, on this manner shall ye speak unto Esau when ye find him, and say ye moreover, behold, thy servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goeth before me, and afterward I will see his face. Peradventure he will accept of me. So when the present over, so went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company. Mm-hmm. And he arose up that night, and took his 2 wives, and his 2 women servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them, and sent them over the brook, and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. Mm-hmm. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. Mm-hmm. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men.
All right, so you see that Jacob knew the character and the aura around these men. When it says they wrestled, this is, you gotta think about it. He knew this was a angel of the Most High. He knew this was a angel sent from the Lord. Go ahead.
And has prevailed. Mm-hmm. And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name?
Right.
And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of that place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved.
Right. So, very good point. Nothing you guys got to know, being scholars, is that he see God? So this word God is used in this context as what?
Powers.
Powers. Or you see an angel. Y'all see that?
Right.
So, but you see how translated into English, they use that word God sometimes in the wrong. It should be a lorgy. You see that? Now, let's take a look back at a bigger picture. Think about it. These are the messengers of the Most High. So, they are part of the Most High, right?
God.
But technically, he's not talking to God, right?
God.
Okay. So let's get that clear. He didn't wrestle with the Most High. You see that? So just another way to show when you want to show somebody how the word God is used, you're able to go to the scriptures and say, listen, is it saying that he wrestled with God right there? Well, yeah, he did. He wrestled with, no. It's saying, that's why you got to get the Hebrew. Alahayim. Powers. Okay, y'all got that?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, that's it on that? Mm-hmm. Next, brother. Come up, John. Oh, yeah.
John, Shabbat Tashal, Yahawada, Bun, Yasha'ala.
John, Shabbat Shah, Yahawada, Bun Yasha'ala.
Yahawah Hashem, Yahushua Rakatha.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah is Brakathum. Yeah. And you're going to go from where? 32, 31 down to 34, 36. Right? You read down to 34, yeah. Go ahead.
Read 34.
Yeah, 32, 31. And you're going to read all the way to 34 chapter.
Genesis chapter 32, verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh.
Yeah, because you got to get in the, a little bit more.
That's perfect.
That's good? Okay, all right. Go ahead.
Verse 32.
Uh-huh.
Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, until this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. Verse chapter 33. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children unto Leah, and unto Rachel, and unto 2 handmaids. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and their children afterwards, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost. And he passed over before them, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw the woman and the children, and said, Who are those with thee? And he said, The children of God hath graciously given thy servant. Then the handmaidens came near, they and their children, and they bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near, and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near, and Rachel, and they bowed themselves. And he said, What meanest thou be all this drove which I met? And he said, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother, keep that thou hast unto thyself. And Jacob said, Nay, I pray thee, if now I found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen thy face, and I had seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me. Take, I pray thee, my blessing that is brought to thee, because God hath dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And he urged him, and he took it. And he said, Let us take our journey, and let us go, and I will go before thee. And he said unto him, My Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the flocks and the herds with young are with me. And if men should overdrive them one day, all the flock will die. Let my Lord, I pray thee, pass over before his servant, and I will lead on softly, according as the cattle that goeth before me, and the children be able to endure. until I come unto my lord unto Seir. And Esau said, let me now leave with thee some of the folk that are with me. And he said, what needeth it? Let me find grace in the sight of my lord. So Esau returned that day on his way unto Seir. And Jacob journeyed to Succoth, and built him an house, and made booths for his cattle. Therefore the name of the place is called Succoth. And Jacob came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. When he came from Padanaram, and pitched his tent before the city. And he brought a parcel of the field where he had spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And he erected there an altar and called it Elohai Israel.
What verse are you at?
Verse 20.
Okay, y'all got any questions so far? Okay. Hold on. Let's see. All right, go ahead, read on.
Genesis chapter 34, verse 1. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her. And the soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel, and spake kindly unto the damsel. And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, give me this damsel to wife. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, because he had wrought folly in Israel in line with Jacob's daughter. Which thing?
One, because it was another nation. Two, he took it. Y'all see that? So just showing you that no, rape wasn't okay. You weren't supposed to take it. Yeah, y'all see that? Okay, go ahead.
Which thing ought not to be done. Verse 8. And Hamor communed with them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you give him to wife, and make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. And ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade ye therein, and get you possessions therein. And Shechem said unto her father and unto her brethren, let me find grace in your eyes, and what ye shall say unto me I will give.
Right, so these were Hivites, right? They were Africans, right? And we've always had battle with Hamites. You know, we were always battling with them, and the Most High didn't want us to deal with them, right? So you have this situation now. This Hamite wants them to make this affinity, this bond with them, right? But first of all, he defiled her. He took it. Y'all see this? Y'all see what's going on, right? Okay. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 34, verse 12.
Okay. Did he read over a little bit?
Yes, sir.
He did. This is cool. All right. All right. The next one.
Hold on a second. My lips gotta be.
Carla Shabbatashal Banyanyam Bon Yasharala.
Carlos Shabbatashal Banyanyan Ban Yasha'ala.
Yahweh Bayasham Yahweh Shai Barakatham.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatah. You can slide it over a little bit. Get in the camera here.
No, start at 12. We just read that. Just read from 12.
12?
Yeah, 34 and 12, right? Down to 35 and 3.
Genesis 34 and 12. Ask me never so much dowry and gift, and I will give according as ye shall say unto me. But give me the damsel to wife. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitful, and said, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. And they said unto them, we cannot do this thing, to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. But in this will we consent unto you, if ye will be as we be, that every male on you be circumcised, then will we give our daughter unto you.
They were in the back doing crazy things. Well, I guess they do crazy things for women these days. But they had to chop off the foreskins, circumcise all the men for one woman. You know what I mean? You gotta think about that. That's a lot. Like we said, listen, we gonna get married. One brother's gonna get married, but everybody gotta get circumcised first. You be like, what the? Of course we supposed to be circumcised. Y'all know that, right? Right. Some of y'all brothers had to do it. Had to do it at a later age, man. You want to get that done, man. If you have any babies, get that done. All right? So that way when you get older, they don't have to do it. It hurts more. Go ahead.
Genesis 34 and 16. Then will we give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. But if ye will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then will we take our daughters, and we will be gone. And their words please Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young man deferred not to do the thing, because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all the house of his father. And Hamor and Shechem his son came unto the gate of their city, and communed with the men of their city, saying, these men are peaceable with us. Therefore let them dwell in the land, and trade therein for the land. Behold, it is large enough for them. Let us take your daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only therein will the men consent unto us for to dwell with us, to be one people. If every male among us be circumcised, as they are circumcised.
He hit him with a dream, basically.
Yeah.
Even though they took
He hyped them.
Dinah, he was like, listen, we'll be your people, you'll be ours.
Well, at this point, the Israel, the brothers, all the brothers, the tribes are pissed off.
Right.
So this is a setup. If y'all don't know the story, this is a setup because remember they defiled her. They already took her. Then they're coming. They were supposed to do it the other way. We've been talking about this a lot. Our custom was, you go to the father, you do the dowry first, right? The dowry was the agreement, the contract you signed with the father to say this was going to happen. Then you would go take her and marry her. Y'all see that? Go ahead. What verse you at? What verse you at?
22.
Okay, go ahead.
Genesis 34:22. Only herein will the men consent unto us for to dwell with us, to be one people. if every male among us be circumcised as they are circumcised, shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us. And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearken all that went out of the gates of his city. And every male was circumcised, all that went out of the gate of his city. And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword, and came upon the city boldly, and slew all the males. And they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house, and went out. The son of Jacob came upon the slain, and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister.
Two brothers, Simeon and Levi, which we know today would be the Haitians and the Dominicans. Ephraim is Puerto Ricans, yeah. So it's Simeon and Levi. Go ahead.
Verse 27.
Genesis 34:27. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain, and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister. They took their sheep, and their oxen, and their asses, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field, and all their wealth, and all their little ones, and their wives, took they captive, and spoiled even all that was in the house. And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, Ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Perizzites, and I being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me, and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, I and my house. And they said, should he deal with our sister as with an harlot?
Right. Do you see that? That's why I remember in the law it says, make not whores of the daughter of Zion. Right? What's that, sis?
So, but why was Jacob saying that he was troubled in that?
That's another point I was just going to talk about. Because when you make a bond back in those days, the bond was really serious. You made an oath. Your word was your bond. So when they came back and told him, listen, you can marry her, but you got to do this, they were supposed to stick to that. But them, they was playing. They weren't trying to hear that. But Jacob was thinking, okay, this is the way we're going to do it. But they weren't having that. But we got to understand, Most High is in control of all this. The Most High is, we're looking at the story now, and we can understand more. He was running all this, right? Because the Most High didn't want us to deal with him anyway. But at the same time, what it showed you is that our word was our bond. When you said you were going to do something, you did it, right? And now I got all these people around us that's greater than us. They gonna be dealing with us some type of way because y'all didn't stick to your oath. If I can't take your word, then we can't trade, we can't build, we can't do things. You see that? Yeah.
But then doesn't it also go back to not dealing with the nations also too in that manner?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because if you don't deal with them, then there's no.
You don't have to worry about all that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
okay.
You didn't have to worry about all that. But think about it. That's what we were all around.
Right.
So you gotta keep your word because you're dealing with these people around you. You see that? So go ahead. Where we at?
35. Genesis 35. And God said unto Jacob, Arise, go up to Bethel, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God, that appeared unto thee when thou fled from the face of Esau thy brother. Then Jacob said unto his household, and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments, and let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make there an altar unto God, who answered me in the day of my distress, and was with me in the way which I went.
That's it. So you have to see every step of the way the Most High was making provisions of anything that went down. You know, when you're a man of the Most High, when you're a woman of the Most High is going to make it work for you. You know, even though if you do slip, even though if somebody in your household does do something stupid, if you're a man of the Most High and being the faithful man, the Most High is going to make it work. That's what we're watching. If you watch these stories, just because the power of Jacob and his character and how he believed in the Most High is going to move certain pieces of the puzzle in a way that where he's still prosperous, he's still growing, he's still a mighty people. So a lot of us lose that, and we talked about yesterday in class about our people who aren't faithful. And they don't see that the Most High is going to make things happen. If you just stay faithful, he'll move certain pieces of the puzzle to where you're still blessed. But you got to be a man of the Most High, you know? So, all right, next brother.
You good? Okay, so 7. Oh, okay, all right. No, come on up. Come on up. I just asked that.
Lakarab, Shabbat Shaw, Banyamyan.
Oh, sorry, we're talking.
Lakarab, Shabbat Shaw, Banyamyan, Ban Yashrala.
Lakarab, Shabbat Shaw, Ban Yamyan, Ban Yash'ala.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Brakatham.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Brakatham.
Oh, is it? That's fine. So he finished 35 and 3. He's gonna do 1 and 2. Then you come here. So you're gonna do here. You're gonna do these, and then he'll come here, and then I'll come here. All right.
This is Genesis chapter 35, verse 4. And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hand, and all their earrings which were in their ears. And Jacob hid them under the oak which was by Shechem. And they journeyed, and the terror of God was upon the cities that were round about them. And they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. So Jacob came to Luz, which is in the land of Canaan, that is Bethel, he and all the people that were with him. And he built there an altar, and called the place El Bethel, because their God appeared unto him. But he fled from the face of his brother. But Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried beneath Bethel, under an oak. And the name of it was called Alan Bachat. And God appeared unto Jacob again, when he came out of Padamaram, and blessed him. And God said unto him, Thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. And God said unto him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac.
And Alawan, Bakath. One bakath is a variation oak of weeping. Oak of weeping. Oh, it says it right. You got it even in my Bible. Oak of weeping. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac, to thee I will give it, and to thy seed after thee will I give the land. And God went up from him in the place where he talked with him. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with them, even a pillar of stone.
Hey, and I didn't get a chance to say this back in a few chapters. That, remember, we have to transition from Jacob to a prince that has power. We have to transition from the Ya'iqua, the guy that just wants to get over and take advantage, to he is a prince that has power. And it is a transition. It's that much more. You have to see it now, because how far we went into the guy that just wants to get over, right? The Ya'iqua, instead of being the prince that has power. So we got to take that in mind, man, that, we can't be the guy that just wants to, dwell in tents, but we got to be the guy that wants to take the kingdom. It's a transition. Even that when you get your name, your Hebrew name, it's a transition from the old man to the new man, from the carnal man to the spiritual man. It's a transition. All right, go ahead.
Verse 14. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with them, even a pillar of stone. And he poured a drink offering thereon, and he poured oil thereon. And Jacob called the name of the place where God spake with him, Bethel.
Right. You know what? As we're going over this, something popped in my head. A lot of these monuments and things that they were building, like to take a look at those, to be able to go and find those locations and, have the archaeology, to link up with the Bible. Because I'm sure just going over and dealing with our people, going over and dealing with the people over there, if you talk to them about these certain points, that'd be dope. Now, I'm ready to go to Israel. I'm ready to go to Israel. But we know that a lot of these are moved. You know what I mean? They moved a lot of these monuments. Whether it's where Rebecca was buried, whether Jacob was buried, whether it was a tree they made an oath under, right? All these things, whether it was where that he wrestled the angel, right? So it's just like these monuments. It would be nice to go over there and be able to talk about these different points. It's those things, man. Y'all gotta take note in y'all Bible, man. Sabbath, I'm gonna say it again. Sabbath morning reading for you, a lot of young brothers that's coming in, is good for you, because you start to get a real good understanding of the basics in the scriptures, in a wider understanding of all these moments, and see how we dealt with the nations, how we got dealt with by the Most High. So a lot of people think the reading is boring, but a lot of these things, man, y'all need to be historians, right? You need your history. Man, the so-called Jews, they write the Torah. They write the Torah over. you understand? And they read out of the Torah. So while we're reading out of English, they're reading out of the Hebrew. You see that? So they took your identity, they took your nationality, and they try to do it better than you. So like the class that the officer Lacroix went over last night, it says that they were bid into the marriage, but they took it lightly. Y'all got to take it serious, man. Y'all got to take it serious, whether it's studying, getting in the book. And like I was just talking to the brother Jeremiah about the oath in the oath that you take with the Hebrew Academy. I'm going to say it and I'll say it again. Every time a brother fills out that Hebrew Academy paper, they disappear. Why? Because the Most High is going to hold you to what you say you're going to do. So that's why we try to tell brothers, before you sign that paper, everything what we do is spiritual. You think, well, that's just a paper. Right, it is, but it's an oath that you're saying you're willing to commit to. So just like the oaths back then, the word, your word was your bond. You might think it's carnal, but the Most High is going to hold you to that as you go through your fiery trial. So, you know, in all the Hebrew Academy is just a commitment saying that I'm going to be consistent. You know, I'm going to be consistent doing these things. So, you know, you got to look at those things before you start to get involved. Because you see the Most High. We got to do a class on oaths and bonds. You know what I mean? Because Israel don't understand, man. Y'all don't know that's in the scriptures. You got to watch what you say. You got to watch what you tell the Most High you're going to do. Yahweh, I'm never going to do it. Yahweh, you'll give me one more chance. The Most High said you're going to be judged by every idle word. So know that every idle word and things that come out of your mouth, spirit starts to circulate around that, and you're going to be dealt with according to what you put out. So that's why he said, watch what you say when you come into the house of the Lord. He said, keep thy mouth, keep thy foot. Because when you say something before the angels, they're recording it. It's like, him had said this, but him didn't do it. It's real, man.
See, look at him.
Yeah, look at him. He's not a man of his word. She's not a woman of her word. I know it's a game to some of y'all, man. This is a religion, church. But the spirits, the Most High ain't playing with you regardless of what you feel in your little heart. The Most High is real. All right, so go ahead, read on.
Verse 16.
Go ahead.
And they journeyed from Bethel, and there was but a little way to come to Ephrath. And Rachel travailed, and she had hard labor. And it came to pass when she was in labor, that the midwife said unto her, fear not, thou shalt have this son also.
So Bethel was in Bethel, or Bayath Allah, or which was house of the power, was in Palestine. House of the power, Bayath Allah. So that's what, and that's, yeah, I do that sometimes to remind y'all that a lot of these words, they are Hebrew, just translated in English. And if you read them with a Hebrew mind, you'll see, oh, I just got to be able to pronounce it with a Hebrew mind. And you'll get them right. But Bayath, right, remember that L? Like they try to say Elohim. It's not Elohim, it's Allah or Allahayim. You see, so that's where that L comes from. So, but it's Bayath Allah, which is house of the power, which referring this to the Most High, right?
Correct.
Referring to the Most High. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Verse 18. And it came to pass, as her soul was in departing, for she died, that she called his name Ben-Oni. But his father Ben-Oni, but his father called him Benjamin. When we look up the word Ben-Oni, it says son of my sorrow.
Right. So this is Rachel, right?
Yes, sir.
So Benyamin, son of the right.
Verse 19. And Rachel died and was buried in the way of Ephrath, which is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar upon her grave. That is the pillar of Rachel's grave unto this day. And Israel journeyed and spread his tent beyond the tower of Edar. And it came to pass, when Israel dwelt in that land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12, the sons of Leah, Reuben.
Which was unlawful. So this is why, when we get there, but he says the scepter shall the scepter, the rulership was taken, or the head was taken from Reuben and given to Judah. Okay, because why? He went into nigger mode and slept with his concubine, his father's concubine, which was his wife. That was still his wife. Yeah. You was gonna say something?
When you had asked that question, when you were saying like why, I was gonna say because Reuben went up to his daddy bed.
Yeah.
And Simeon and Levi did their thing.
Right.
With them, that's why it went to Judah.
Right. It went to Judah. Okay. What's up? Yeah, go ahead and get it.
Hey, this is Leviticus chapter 18. And you can do verse 8.
All right.
Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 8.
Go ahead and read it.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 8. And it says, the nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness.
Right. So that's actually, you know what? Yeah, that's it. It just talks about the laws and statutes. That's the law, man. Chapter 18 Leviticus tells you about all the unlawful things when it comes about your family members, the nakedness of your father, your mother, your cousins, and these are things that we need to know. So definitely, Reuben messed up on that one.
Yeah, he did. He definitely messed up. Go ahead.
Verse 23.
Verse
23. The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, and Levi, and Jacob, and Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. And the sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, Gad and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob, which were born to him in Padanaram.
Yeah, and we went over this last class. Just a reminder that some of these tribes came out of women of another nation. Okay, so you need that arsenal for the, the Mamzar doctrine. You're a heathen if your wife's if the mother is a heathen. That's madness. It's of the father. So just more ammo. Y'all gotta note this to be able to tell people. If you're taking good notes, you'll have these things. That way, when you come encounter with the simple-minded, you're reminding them, nah, brother, there was a time that the Most High said, take the kids and cast them out because they're women of other nations, but it wasn't because that their nationality wasn't determined off of the father. It was because during the time of Ezra, he was making a point. That's why those kids were cast out. It wasn't that those kids were not legitimate, because the father made them legitimate. Y'all got that?
Got it.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 27. And Jacob came unto Isaac his father unto Mamre, unto the city of Arba, which is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac sojourned. And the days of Isaac were 180 years, and Isaac gave up the spirit and died.
Right. So Isaac lived 160. No, 100. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. 180. Yeah, 180 years, man. Hey, that's a long life. 180 years. Go ahead.
And Isaac gave up the spirit and died,
Uh-huh.
and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him.
Right.
Now these are the generations of.
You was gonna say something?
Yeah. And just to add, just for this chapter, like you was talking about, just the monuments and the archaeology of our people, and I was looking up Rachel's tomb that Jacob put up in verse 20, and it reminds me of how Issachar, man, when you look at Issachar when they die in Mexico right now, listen, they got literally tombs like this.
Yeah.
Look like houses, AC, you got trucks inside the tombs, but it looks something similar to the same thing that Rachel's actually buried in.
Rachel's tomb.
And it's just the custom of just the flashiness, and not even flashy, but the wealth and the prestige that our people took in our people when they died, when they lived. So it's I like that.
Yeah, as opposed to just dumping them in a ditch.
Right. Right.
You know, we had a lot of these tombs. I mean, he's looking on Google. If you Google Rachel's, right, Pillar of Rachel's tomb. Yeah. All right. Where are we at?
Genesis chapter 36.
Uh-huh.
Verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan.
So Esau is Edom. Esau is red. Go ahead.
Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan. Adah, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite, and Aholibamah, the daughter of Anab, the daughter of Zibeon, the Hivite, and Bashemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nabajah. And Adah bare to Esau Eliphaz, and Bashemath bare Ruel, and Aholibamah bare Jeush, and Jaalam, and Korah. These are the sons of Esau, which were born unto him in the land of Canaan. And Esau took his wives, and his sons, and his daughters, and all the persons of his house, and his cattle, and all his beasts, and all his substance, which he had gotten in the land of Canaan, and went into the country from the face of his brother Jacob. For the riches were more than that they might dwell together. And the land wherein they were strangers could not bear them because of their cattle. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau; Ruel, the son of Bashemath.
Right, so Mount Seir, a mountain of Idumea. A mountain of Idumea. Right, and Idumea is the Greek word for Edom. Edom. Okay? What's crazy is I got a book in the car. Give me that book real quick. Could you grab me that, Jeremiah? It's in the back seat. It's 2 books. I just want to show y'all this because we're on this point here. This book right here. It's called The Roman Empire, the Empire of the Edomite. So this is all for those naysayers that Esau, the so-called white man, is the Arabs or Japhet. This book right here goes into showing that of course, the Roman Empire, these are Edomites. But what it goes to in this book, it goes into Esau speaking, or the Romans speaking Hebrew, the Latins speaking Hebrew. But on page 16 it says, the Romans then being Latins, the Latins themselves must, according to our rabbinical tradition, be Idumeans. Yeah. This is just one book. I've been doing all in my power to get every archaeological reference to show that the so-called white man is the Romans. And all these books been coming up. This is not expensive either. Y'all can get this online. It's the Roman Empire, the Edomite, the Empire of the Edomite. And that's on page 16. So it said the Latins were Idumeans. See? And then he goes down. It just goes down. So far, really, it's just, it's about how, you know, like it says, that how the Latins are Esau, they're the Edomites, but how their language also, they were speaking the same language, stuff like that. I haven't finished it, but that's just one point in there I wanted to bring out. All right, go ahead. Let's jump back.
All right. Verse 10. These are the names of Esau's sons. Eliphaz, the son of Adab, the wife of Esau. Ruel, the son of Bash-Emath, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Taman, Omar, Zapho, and Gatam, and Kenaz. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son. And she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. And these are the sons of Ruel, Nahat, and Zerah, Shema, and Mazah. These were the sons of Bash-Emath, Esau's wife. And these were the sons of Aholiabamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon, Esau's wife. And she bare to Esau Jeush, and Jaalam, and Korah. These were dukes of the sons of Esau. The sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn son of Esau, Duke Taman, Duke Omar, Duke Zapho, Duke Kenaz, Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Adah. And these are the sons of Ruel, Esau's son, Duke Nahat, Duke Zerah, Duke Shema, Duke Mazah. These are the dukes that came of Ruel in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Bash-Emath, Esau's wife. Verse 18. And these are the sons of Aholiabamah, Esau's wife, Duke Jeush, Duke Jaalam, Duke Korah. These were the dukes that came of Aholiabamah, the daughter of Anah, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Esau, who is Edom, and these are their dukes. These are the sons of Seir, the Horite, who inhabited the land, Lotan, and Shobal, and Zibeon, and Anah, and Dishan, verse 21, and Dishan, and Ezer, and Dishan. These are the dukes of the Horites, the children of Seir.
So, you know, and I'm just saying this because as you constantly are studying and learning, you're going to start to see that a lot of these names, you're going to have to look for a lot of these names in history. See, what I noticed also, like even dealing with Judah, the other books I got on Judah being in Europe, in Rome, in Italy, and all these different places, that one of the things that the brother was saying in one of his books was that one of the sons of Judah were named in history. So if we're really going to study archaeology and, you know, the anthropology of people, you can go through the sons. It takes a lot of work, right? But if we're going to, you know, when we get to that scholarship, it's going to have to come to that, because a lot of these things are more confusing to our people, because now you got people coming out saying the so-called white man is Japhet, or the so-called white man is the Arabs. So now you got to get that much more evidence, you know, on top of the scriptures to show them, no, historically, look at the facts. Y'all see that?
Correct.
So just giving y'all little points that you can go and study and start to go through these names and look through them, because that's what I've been doing. I've been going through the names, through the ancestry, and trying to look for them in history, you know, and see if you can link it back to Esau. So go ahead.
The children of Seir in the land of Edom. Verse 22. And the children of Lotan were Horah and Himam, and Lotan's sister was Timnah. And the children of Shobal were these: Alvin, and Manahat, and Ebal, Shepho, and Onam, And these are the children of Zibeon, both Ajah and Anah. This was that Anah that found the mules in the wilderness, as he fed the asses of Zibeon his father. And the children of Anah were these, Zishon, and Aholiabamah, the daughter of Anah. And these are the children of Dishon, Hemdan, and Eshban, and Ithran, and Cheran. The children of Izar are these, Bilhan, and Zaaban, and Akan. The children of Dishan are these, Uz and Aran. These are the dukes that came of the Horites, Duke Latan, Duke Shobal, Duke Zibeon, Duke Anah, Duke Dishan, Duke Ezer, Duke Dishan. These are the dukes that came of Horai, among their dukes in the land of Seir. That's it.
Okay. All right, so you're going to read from 31 to the end and then jump to Obadiah.
Genesis chapter 36 and verse 31.
All right, so listen, if y'all got any questions online, he's going to do his reading, then I'm going to do mine, and then we're going to ask questions. So if y'all got them, prepare them now. If not, we definitely going to be ending class a little early if y'all have no questions. All right? So just preparing y'all. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 36 and verse 31. And these are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom before their reign, any king over the children of Israel. And Belial, the son of Behor, reigned in Edom. And the name of his city was Ben-Ahaba. And Belial died.
What verse you at?
This is verse 32. Verse 33. And Belial died, and Jobab, the son of Zerah of Borzrah, reigned in his stead. And Jobab died, and Hussam of the land of Temani reigned in his stead. And Hussam died, and Hadad, the son of Bedad, who smote Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead. And the name of his city was Avith. And Hadad died, and Semlah of Masrekah reigned in his stead. And Semlah died, and Saul of Rehoboth by the river reigned in his stead. And Saul died, and Balhan, the son of Akbor, reigned in his stead. And Balhan, the son of Akbor, died, and Hadar reigned in his stead. And the name of his city was Paul. And his wife was named Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred, the daughter of Mezab. And these are the names of the dukes that came of Esau, according to their families, after their places, by their names: Duke Tanam, Duke Alvav, Duke Jetheth, Duke Halbath, Duke Allah, Duke Pinon, Duke Kenaz, Duke Teman, Duke Mibzar, verse 43, Duke Madel, Duke Aram. These be the dukes of Edom, according to the habitation of the land of their possessions. He is Esau, the father of the Edomites. Now we're going to jump to Obadiah chapter 1. Obadiah chapter 1 through 15. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom, who have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee. Thou hast dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high.
Right, so when dealing with the Edomites, what's a common theme you know about them? Their pride, their ego. Even unto this day, man, Esau is a proud nation, right? Think about it. Let's look at their mind state dealing with technology, dealing with science, dealing with their military. There's no other nation that's proud, and their pride is like Esau. Even till, like, and we talk about this a lot, they think they're going to fight the Most High. So, that I say it and I'll say it again. You got to build the character profile on who are the Edomites, right? You got to have the history. You got to have the evidence. Who are the Edomites? So these things are going to break down that BS about them being the Arabs. Go ahead.
Though that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high.
Right. And that when you look at the so-called white man, when you look at the Edomites, once again, things in common, right? Their habitation is high. Right? That's how Esau likes it. They like living in the skyscrapers. They like living in towers they can't get out alive. Why? Because that's just how they like to live. Now, when you look at the Arabic nations, they don't have that. Now, Saudi Arabia is trying to advance as being, you know, modern. But they're just really trying to beat the so-called white man on the tallest buildings or the tallest towers. That just barely came about. Esau's been building his buildings higher than high, right? You know, 200 floors, 300 floors or whatever in the sky, because that's how they like to live. Character profile, yeah.
Yeah, I was getting gas, and they like their trucks really high too, and he was having problems getting in this truck, and I was kind of laughing. I'm like, he was slipping and falling. I'm like, why you need it that high, you know? But I mean, it was just it's kind of funny.
Yeah, no, you're right, but it's all about ego, cocky. Their pride, their brain is in the clouds. You know, I'm going to take over the world. Nobody's going to stop me. You know, so when we read this chapter, when we talk about Esau, because obviously the reading today is going to go into Esau. Right? It's talking about Esau, this whole chapter. Go ahead.
Whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Right.
Verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars.
Right. So, okay, so the white man didn't go to the moon, but what is he still trying to do? He's trying to go to those stars. He's trying to set his nest amongst the stars. You know, whether it's in the known atmosphere, because if you're saying that the firmament, in our firmament, the sun and the moon and the stars are in our firmament, well, he's still trying to, in our firmament, reach those stars, right? Right. So even though he can't, but he will try. When the Most High said, if they measure the depth of the sea, or the earth, or the height of heaven, then the children of Israel will be done away with. Well, let's take a look back. They really try to measure the earth. No, they try to measure the span and the width of the earth. And we'll try to give you a measurement of that. But we know that measurement can't be true, because if it was, the children of Israel will be done away with, right? So these are the things that we got to take into mind. Like, what other people are doing that? I don't see the Arabs trying to worry about going into the stars of heaven. You understand? And if they did, because all nations are now, right? Who are they trying to do it behind? The so-called white man, because he's the leader, because his brain is in the clouds, right? The ego represents a bird of I'm not going to say prey, a bird of a predator. Esau's a predator, man. So once again, this character profile about him. All right, real quick, let's just throw this one in there since we're talking about Esau. 2nd Ezra 6 verse 9. 2nd Ezra 6 verse 9.
Fine. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9.
Go ahead.
For Esau is the end of the world.
Right. So Esau is the end of the world. From when? When does it say? Is it 8?
It's verse 8.
Go ahead, read.
And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Go ahead.
For Esau is the end of the world,
right?
And Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
So, when was it? All the way back. Because the spirit that Esau was going to be, it was going to lead in, and what he was going to do. You understand? Esau just didn't disappear off the face of the earth. Y'all got to understand that. Esau adopted other names, other identities. And he adopts everybody's identity. You understand that? So they adopted the original Greeks, Romans, the Spanish, the Germans, all these things. Listen, everybody was dark before Esau came about. So as they came out of the caves, they started to adopt everybody's identity. The barbarians, the Scythians, right? So that's why Esau puts himself up as everybody when he was nobody. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 10. The hand of man is betwixt the heel.
Right, so that's it on that. Jump back. So Esau is the end of the world. Okay? Now we're looking at his pride. At verse 4. Let's read that again.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they have not stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out?
Right. So, once again, historically, when you look at the so-called white man, when you look at the Greeks, the Romans, they didn't just go in and take over your nation, right? Even the Arabs, when you go back to Saladin, when he came about and he started to try to convert everybody to Islam, right? When you deal with the holy wars, it said at one time Saladin, he would let everybody worship their religion, but he would basically claim rule to the land. Okay? So this was him going about, you know, I got a list of the places that he went through, and I can't think of them offhand. But remember, they're fighting over Jerusalem at this time, during the Holy Wars, right? So along this path, they're fighting for these different lands. And when he conquered them, and I'm saying this to show you that the Arabs, they didn't even think like the white man. The white man, they go in and kill everything. When did the Arabs start doing that? During the Holy Wars, they started to maybe the last end of the Holy Wars. Because why? They knew that and I'm going to say this. Let me correct myself. They knew that because during the last end of the Holy Wars, they were fighting us. All right? To Esau start coming out. Remember, because they came out of the caves as the Turks, right? The Ottoman Turk Empire. So, and we started converting them to be Israelites, because we did that. We were converting a lot of these Edomites to be Jews, and Ishmael was converting them to be Muslims. So now they're fighting them. The pride of thy heart have deceived thee. Go ahead.
And the noise of thy vials.
Right.
And the worm is spread under thee.
All right, jump back to Obadiah. I just wanted to show you about this confederate. And like I said, we can go to Revelations about the confederate, the ones that joined up with the beast. And I was putting this little class together on that, showing that all nations join with the beast. So So no matter what nation you go to, right, all these nations have part and drink and sip of the cup of the beast. So it don't matter where you run to. The Israelites over there in Israel, those are white people. They join with the beast. They have a confederacy with the beast. Right? Egypt, all these other countries, and the ones that aren't given all the way in, they have somewhat a part with the beast. Yeah.
As you were saying that, I was thinking, is that because Esau has infiltrated those, he's mixed himself with those people?
Part of it. Okay. Part of it, but remember, it's mostly because how he conquered them. You understand? It's mostly how he conquered these nations and how he deals with them. Go back to Isaiah 14 and jump to verse 4.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor seized?
Right. How hath the oppressor? So, why are the nations under his, and part of it? Because the white man went over there with democracy to all these nations and did what? Either drop bombs on them, regulations, right? Coming in and disrupting, creating confusion, right? Bringing down the ruler that they don't want there and bringing up the ruler that they do want. America's bad as hell, but they're corrupt. But they're good at what they do, though. You know, the deceptiveness and their lies and their corruptness. Man, but the crazy thing is, if y'all, as many of y'all that already watch all these Netflix series, they're coming out with it. Like, they're telling you, like, yeah, this is how America is. Yeah. You know, you're just going to go in and cause division or corruptness or lies. Like, go look at, if you even look at the series Scandal, like, that shows you how the presidency works and how they think, their lies. And they're just putting little things out. Why? Because the truth, little by little, is going to shine and keep coming out. Because their own people are starting to be revealed them. So it's just things like that on top of the, and I'm not saying the whole, Netflix series or movies is the sole understanding. What I'm trying to show you is that Esau is coming out with it themselves. They're telling on themselves, right? But we got the history. We got the evidence. We got the scriptures. For the simple mind, go and look at just your basic TV programs and you'll see they're telling on themselves, right? Go ahead.
The golden cities.
Right.
Verse 5. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 5. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the ruler.
Right, all right, go from there. I think it's Revelations 18. Just on what the sister was saying. I think it's Revelations 18. It says, Revelations 18 and 3. Read that one.
Revelation chapter 18 and verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath.
See, stop. There's two things here. All nations have drunken of the wine. Okay? Nobody's sitting around drinking wine. This is symbolic. The wine is the influence. So all nations have been influenced. Okay? Influenced and what?
Of the wine of the wrath.
Of the what?
Wine of the wrath.
So they've been influenced by their what?
Wrath of her fornication.
You understand?
Or oppressor.
There you go. So they've been oppressed by them. So all these nations, a lot of them been in bow. Yes, they've come confederate, all of it, against us. But they also have been beaten down by the oppressor. By that golden city. Right? Through the wrath. Right? What else?
And the kings of the
It
earth.
says of her fornication. What did she use to fornicate with these nations? The ideals, the beliefs, the doctrines, the philosophies of America, which is what? Democracy. You come up under our democracy, our belief, and run your kingdom how we run ours, or else we're going to cause this commotion. So all nations, back to what you said, they do it partly, partly they want to join in and join in the oppressing city, but a lot of it is because of ass whooping. If they don't lock in, then what happens? North Korea is getting ousted, and little by little it's drawing to the part to listen. We gotta free the North Koreans of the tyranny of Kim Jong, right? He's a tyrant, and they're doing all these stories of how they can't live over there. They can't go on the internet, right? The same thing, they got their, and I'm not saying Kim Jong is righteous. What I'm saying is the Babylon, America, the so-called white man knows how to influence other nations, and if they can't get what they want, they will go in and cause commotion, cause destruction. So the wine and the wrath of her fornication. Go ahead.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
Right. What else? Read.
And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy.
So all the kings of the earth partake in the wickedness of the beast, the whore. They all partake in this, because none of them is standing up against them. And the ones that try, they don't have the laws of the Most High, so they're off. Like I said, there are nations that try to stick out and don't go with the oppressing city, right? But Kim Jong is not following the righteousness. He's not following the laws of the Most High, right? He's not doing the will of the Most High, so the Most High is going to bring that king. All kingdoms of the earth are going to be brought down. Why? Because they're not following the will of the Most High. Christ's kingdom is going to be lifted up, and all nations are going to have to bow to that. But just to answer that question about Esau and their confederates, go ahead. Jump back to Obadiah 1 verse 8.
Obadiah 1 verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mouth of Esau?
Right, so the wise men out of Edom. What verse are we at?
Verse 8.
Verse 8. The wise men out of Edom. Go back, or in my brain, let's go back because we go here a lot. Go to Ezekiel. Let me make sure. It's either Ezekiel. Yeah, it is Ezekiel. Ezekiel 28 and 3.
Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee.
Right. So, thou art wiser than Daniel. So, there's a lot of secrets the the so-called white man has hid. There's a lot of secrets, books, history, archaeology, that he has hid. And he's wiser than Daniel. Now, we know that wise to do evil, right? Wise to do evil, but to do good they know not. Right? So this is what it means by they're wise. Go ahead.
With thy wisdom and with thy understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches.
Right. What wisdom is that? Wickedness. Corruptness, lies, torture, deception. And I love CNN. They're putting him on blast. They're showing everything. Look, he lied. They're saying all this about Hillary. Not that Hillary is right. They all wicked as hell. But it's just showing you what's going on behind the scenes. Corruptness, falsehood, lies, deception. It's a good Netflix series. Why? Because that's what the white man's into, man.
House of cards.
Yeah, it's a good house of cards. It's just like that. So the reason why you got to pay attention to that is because these scriptures are going to be more evident to you. They are wiser than Daniel. Why? Because he's righteous? Nah. He's wise to do evil. Right? Their politricks is how they have their wisdom. It's not because it's righteousness. Okay, go ahead.
And has gotten gold and silver into thy treasure.
Yeah, because that's how they built their kingdom. Rape, robbery, murder, lies, deception, falsehood. You know, one brothers was going in, and I told you this before about, they were going in and talking about the Arabs. They got to be Esau because they got more oil. The brother went through and showed how much oil America controls. They own a lot of that Arabic. Why do you think they're taking over lands? They own the oil. You understand that? More than the Arabs. So it's just showing you that. How did they get their riches? Lies. How do they own a lot of countries that you would never guess? The white man has his hand up their bum in owning their lands and in debt. And if they don't own it like on physical paper, you're in debt to me for centuries. You understand? So how did they get this? Through their wisdom, through their politricks, through their covetousness, right? Through their lies, through bloodshed. Who is that? Who's the best at that? The Arabs? Come on, man. The Arabs are fighting for scraps. They're fighting to keep their name. He's going in. White man is wiping their Islam the hell out because he's wiser than them and smarter. They're brute beasts, thinking I'm gonna just go in and blow everything up. The white man's like, listen, I'm gonna move this kingdom against you. I'm gonna move this kingdom against you. I'm gonna create these lies here, and he's going in and taking over these Arabic kingdoms. So once again, you see how deep, how if you just have the basic understanding of the scriptures without these books, you would know who the so-called white man is. Go ahead.
Verse 5. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches.
Go ahead.
And thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches.
There you go. You see it? So this common theme with the wicked, this common theme with wicked rulers, whether it was the Babylonian, the Persian, the Medes, the Greeks, the Romans, all the way up to now, this is what it's saying about these rulers, how they got their wisdom. But at this point, we know it's what kingdom, right? And Ezekiel 28 is talking about Tyre and Sidon, but Tyre and Sidon ain't ruling. Tyre and Sidon was a little coastal city of the Hamites. They ain't ruling nothing. They ain't wiser than Daniel. They're not cutting your DNA and splicing it and saying, hey, you want blue eyes? Hey, we're going to give you blue eyes. That's the so-called white man. So you have to see how all these prophecies and spirit is talking about this wicked kingdom, this wicked regime. Even Isaiah 14 chapter, even Revelations 18, it's Babylon, Babylon. But remember, who is it talking about? Who is Babylon talking about? Huh? How do you prove that so-called white man, that Babylon, I don't want to give it away, but Babylon is the daughter, or Esau is the daughter of Babylon. Yeah, the so-called white man is the daughter of Babylon. Y'all know how to prove that? Y'all got to have that, man. Let's go to, it's in Psalms. Let me find it real quick. It is... I haven't went there in a minute, man, so... What? No. I'm gonna find it. Give me 1 second. Y'all gotta have this. Yep, 137 and 7. 137 and 7.
Psalm chapter 137 and verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom.
The what?
The children of Edom.
Go ahead.
And the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
Go ahead.
O daughter.
O what?
O daughter.
O what?
O daughter.
Read.
Of Babylon.
Yeah, so it's not Babylon, but it's the daughter. Why? Because she follows right after her mama. Babylon was confusion, chaos, homosexuality, transvestites. It was idolatry, all these things that Babylon exemplified. Well, her little whole daughter follows right after her. Do you understand? So that shows you that Edom, when it talks about Babylon, Babylon is not ruling no more. It's talking about Edom. Y'all got that? All right. What's up? Yeah. All right, let's jump back. Let's jump back to Obadiah. I just wanted to link up a few of these precepts for y'all.
Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And the mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed. And the end that everyone of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Right. And remember, he said, raise it. Meaning that he was on the side as we were running from the nations. Esau helped and was happy about it. So this is why the Most High has the indignation for Esau. Right? He's going to be cut off. Go ahead.
Verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob shall shame cover thee.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt be cut off forever.
So it's gonna be a certain time, man, that Esau is cut off forever. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And the day that thou stoodest on the other side in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates,
right,
and cast lots upon Jerusalem.
Right. What that show you about brotherhood, though? What's going to happen to all these people that's joined up with this kingdom and that loves America and that are happy about this kingdom? And brothers and sisters, you're not getting it. This is not our kingdom. This is only temporary, man. You're trying to build your treasure here in this world, in this kingdom, and Christ is going to overthrow it. But think about those traitors, the ones that love it, love this life, love this way. Now, this was Esau. He was supposed to, that's our brother. He was supposed to stand with us and fight against them, right? But no, that spirit, it said the spirit in him is not upright. Go ahead.
Verse 11, verse 12. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction.
Go ahead.
Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress.
Go ahead.
Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity.
Go ahead.
Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity.
Right.
Verse 14. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape.
Yeah, we were trying to run and we asked, could we go through their land, and what they say? Nope. Nope. You're supposed to be our brother. You see that? See, so remember, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. That's why the scriptures say you're not supposed to hate Esau. You understand? Brothers trying to change that and said the Arabic. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it says a whore, not an Edomite. Why? But what it's showing you is that this hatred of ready to we hate wickedness. We hate them for what they did, but is that supposed to motivate us to do what they done to us? No, not yet. Because all that's going to do is you're going to step outside of the wisdom of the Most High. So that's why we're saying, no, we're not going to get guns and we're not going to fight the white man and we're not going to go to war with them. Why? One, you don't got the power and you ain't going to fight them. Two, vengeance is the Lord's. Three, you ain't got the power to fight them. You understand? There's no way until Christ come back. When he said he put his spirit on us, then we gonna take vengeance. Okay? But that's after Christ gets his vengeance. That's after. Remember, Christ gets the hour. It says in 1 day and 1 hour, Babylon is gonna fall. That's his hour. When he gets us right, gets us in order, like we're gonna be a real military, that's after. Then we're going to go back and get all Esau and the rest, the leftovers. We're going to get the leftovers. He gets the main course. Think about it. Yeah, he's going to get the main course. All right, go ahead, read out.
Verse 15.
Go ahead.
For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be unto thee, done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head.
Right. So Revelations 13, 9 and 10, right? He that leadeth into captivity. So, I mean, you can get it real quick. Go ahead and read it.
God, Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
So, once again, my common sense argument is, how are they going to sit and eat with us and judge the 12 tribes of Israel and be called to our grace when they're going to be judged? You're not putting the scriptures together unless you're just plainly saying, oh, because those prophecies are done away with, which is a straight lie. They're going to reap what they sow, right? They're going to go in captivity as they put us in captivity. Go ahead.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Go ahead.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Listen, what are we waiting for? Come on now. Everybody wants to make it to the kingdom where we want righteousness and we want to live up in our land, but really, you know what a lot of us are waiting for? Revenge. It's the sweetest joy. You understand? Yeah, we're waiting for revenge so much right now that we want to take revenge, but we know that's not the way. Vengeance is the Lord's. Right? Go ahead. Like, jump back.
Yes, sir. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 15.
Well, I'm actually reading. You finished 15? No, sir. Go ahead.
For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen.
Right?
As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee.
Yeah, you got to cut all these scriptures out. Because the reward haven't been on their head. So you were literally understanding the New Testament and thinking that the nations can join in with us as far as in our kingdom, you know, and they get to get the riches and the glory of the kingdom. Well, something contradicts itself. You know what I mean? The Bible would be contradictory. How is all nations going to feel the wrath of the Lord in destruction, but they get to sit and eat with us? Nah, that's contradictory, man. Those nations are going to pay. So, going back to Cornelius, just because they heard the word, all these nations hear the word, or people, or nations and Gentiles online, listen to the word of the Most High. I'm going to say it and I say it again. It's better for you to be a servant in the kingdom of the Most High than to be wiped off the face of the earth. So a lot of them will come bending, right? A lot of them will follow the laws of the Most High, but that's not going to change what's going to happen to their nation. You see that? It doesn't change that. Just because Ruth listened and and follow the Most High, that don't mean that they get a pass and their nation don't get an ass whooping. Come on, let's be real with this. Did we get a pass? Did the Most High, all through the whole nation, we still got whipped? So I always throw that out there so you can put it together, common sense, to understand that you would have to wipe out all these scriptures and say, oh, those don't count. I'm blocking those out of my mind. Nah, that's not right. It's off. It's off, and you're off, and you're tripping. These promises will come to pass. And the patience and faith of the saints is what? That we're waiting for this mighty, holy ass whooping from the Lord that's going to come on all nations. Right? Yeah, Isaiah 60, Isaiah 34, Revelations 18, Isaiah, you know what I mean? All these chapters that talk about the things promised to the nations, right? Revelations 13, right? Go ahead. All right, so I'm going to read from verse 16 and finish it. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, they shall swallow down, they shall be as though they had not been. You see that? So these nations are going to be taken down also. Psalms 83. Everybody that was confederate with Esau, they're coming down. Okay? But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. Right? We don't have to go over it again. We beat them into the ground with y'all. Isaiah 14, Isaiah 60, Isaiah 34, right? All these chapters prophesy the destruction and that they're going to pay us back. We're going to gain their possessions, right? And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame. Why does it say both of them? Because it's showing you the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain, the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim, and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. Why? Because we're going to, all the lands that were taken, we're going to get those lands back. Now, historically, did that happen? No. Because we've been in one captivity after the next. So this is how you got to go through that chronological order of what happened and did these prophecies come to pass. Either you're saying God is a lie and they're not going to come to pass, and he made false promises and false oaths, or you're saying he's going to stick to his promise that we get our lands back, that we get, that the nations get punished. All right? Yeah.
It says, which people are going to get enslaved by the Hebrew Israelites? Edomites? Question mark.
Okay, we must have missed something. Let's go back to verse 15.
This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 15.
We must got somebody new on here, so we might have to touch over the other chapters too. But read that real quick.
For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen.
Right.
As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee.
Right. Who? Go to Psalms 83. Who? Right.
Psalms chapter 83.
Psalms 83.
Verse 3.
Psalms 83, verse 3. Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel.
No, read up.
Come. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult.
Right.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Right.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Right.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
Right. But who did this? Was it just Esau? No, Esau was the main man. He's the main man. Go ahead.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Go ahead.
That the name of Israel may be no more in
all nations. We're going to find out. The white man, he did his job all the way till now. Let's cut them off from being a nation. What are you? What's your nationality? Black. I mean, that's a color scheme. That's not a nation. So at this point, he's done a great job. If it wasn't that the Most High have saved a certain elect to get this word out, you wouldn't even know your identity. So all these people talking about nationality doesn't matter. Man, Christ said go to the Israelites. That was the first thing he did when he got his 12 apostles. He said go to the Israelites, a nation. He didn't say go to all nations. He didn't do that till he died and resurrected, because we were scattered through all nations. But the first move he was making, he was like, okay, Matthew, Peter, Andrew, James, John, let me get my apostles. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, neither into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Matthew 10, 5, and 6.
Oh, yeah, that's the question I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Matthew 10, okay.
Matthew 10, 5, and 6. He said, go to Israel. So when you get these manipulative Christians talking about nationality doesn't matter, it shouldn't matter. Hell yeah, it matters. Right. All through the Bible, Christ said he's going to divide nation from nation. Yep. He shall set the sheep on one side, the goat on the other. Yep. Right? All nations shall be gathered together. Right? So Christ is gathering all nations together. And he's going to punish all nations. But his deliverance is for Israel. So read 15. Go ahead, read on.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Go ahead.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
Go ahead.
They are confederate against thee.
All nations have been confederate against thee. Go ahead.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The who?
Tabernacles of Edom.
The so-called white man. The Edomite nation. Go ahead.
And the Ishmaelites.
The Arabs have been confederate against us. Go ahead.
Of Moab.
Moab. These are people, and until further notice, these are people, the Moabites are people in the, over there in Mesopotamia. I'm trying to look up the modern day, but Iraq area. Go ahead.
And the Hagarians.
Hagarenes. Go ahead.
Gebal.
Gabal. Go ahead.
And Ammon.
Ammon. Go ahead.
Amalek.
The
Philistines. With the inhabitations of Tyre.
Tyre and Sidon.
Ashur.
Right.
Also.
Right. The Syrians. Go
also,
ahead.
Also is joined with them.
Right. So all nations have been confederate against the children of Israel. There's not no nation in that United Nation that's standing up and say, listen, y'all did the black people wrong. Give them back their land. Give back the Native Americans their land. Give them back their history. Give them back their identity. They're talking about, listen, go back to Africa.
Right.
That's what the white man tells us. Go back to Africa's not our land. We want our land back. But they were confederate to quickly make Israel a state, right? Why? Because when they got those Turks in there, when they got those white people in there, they wanted to, at that time, make it a state to make it known, oh, these are the Israelites. The white man has been confederate to wipe your name off of the face of the earth. Okay? And all nations joined in with them. And another book we got, the one with Gamal Nasir, where he said, give me that real quick. Do me a favor, just grab my books. Never know, I should have just brought them in. I got to remember just to bring them in during the Sabbath. Because I know these questions are going to pop up, like historical and things of that nature. But just some good books, man, y'all got to have. But it's cheap online, too. You brothers should have it for ammo. I said any book we quote, I'm going to buy. Because I want to read it. and I want to make sure we have it on hand. So y'all got to have it. That way when we bump into people, you have these books. But, well, I'm going to read it, yeah.
Yeah, I thought the Moab was Chinese.
The Moab is Chinese, Ammon is Japanese. We're going to leave it at that for right now. All right? You know, and the reason I'm saying that is because High Priest Yeshaya has gotten information that a lot of them are people mixed up over there also.
Yeah.
Not saying everybody, but okay, exactly. So not everybody, but some of them. Okay, but
can you open that?
yeah, he got it. Never mind. Yeah. So go in there and look for that. It's a little thin paper book in there. But in this book, it tells you that the in this book, sorry, my heart stopped right there. Bro, take care of those books. In this book, you can give me that one. That's fine. This might come up. Go ahead.
Oh, it's not full.
Give me the other one. But in this book, it says, no, it's not that. It's a little paper, brown type of, or is it in there? Is it in there?
Which one are you looking for?
It's a little paper, brown book.
Not the justice. Not just what's in it.
That's it right there. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, it's not in there? Well, anyway, the governor, or he was the governor or the president, he was the president of Egypt, he said, how could the Israelites leave black and come back white? Okay? Because they knew that the real Israelites were, and it's Gamar Nasir. You can look it up online. Yeah, you can look it up online. I'm talking to them online, the one that asked this question. So when you talk about Confederate, and you talk about what nations are going to receive the punishment, well, all nations. Why? Because they were Confederate against the Lord's people, and the punishment. The Africans and the Arabs sold us in slavery, and that's modern. You want to go ancient, they were against us, still fighting, destroying us, overthrowing us. So I thought I had it in there. Sorry about that. So read on. Thought I had that book.
They have holpen the children of Lot.
Go ahead.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
Right. So go back. Let's jump back. Let's go to back to Revelations 18. Just on this question online real quick. Just on Revelations 18. Just to reiterate for this individual, what nations? Revelation 18 and 3.
Revelation chapter 18 and verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of wrath of her fornication.
So once again, all nations have been influenced by the so-called white man. And they submitted to them. And whether it's through wrath or whether it's just through sheer wanting to indulge in the riches and the things that they've gotten from the sons of God, all nations partake in this. Okay? So all nations are going to deal with the punishment of the Most High. All right? So, I mean, there's more. We could go into more scriptures, but I think that makes the point right there. So let's jump back. Was that the only thing on that question?
On that question is somebody else. Actually, there actually another question.
What?
He said, yes, I am new. Question 2. What do the scriptures say about people from South Asia around India, or what do you guys feel about those people?
South Asia around India, I mean, what people?
Elamites.
East Indians? Yeah. Well, the East Indians gonna feel the wrath too. The best thing you can do, listen, go to Isaiah 14. The wrath is coming. The wrath of the Most High is coming. All right? And all nations have been partook in Israel going in captivity and slavery. And I know you're thinking, well, I didn't do it. Great. We didn't per se disobey the Most High in the wilderness. Yeah. But guess what? We're paying for our forefathers' sins all the way up today. Crack babies, you being called black, Hispanic, nigga, spick, spook, wetbag. You know, the communities we live in, the education we have. We didn't do nothing to deserve it per se, as, you know, we were born into it. You were born a nigga. You were born a spick. You understand? When they ask you on your birth certificate what to put, when you put Native American, okay, he's a butt-naked Indian, a savage. That's what they look at us as, because there's no such thing as Indian. We're not Indians. We're not savages. We're not black. We're none of these things. So you were born into being called a nigga, a nothing, a black person. Those are names that bring our existence down. So we were born into it. We're suffering for it. The other nations are going to have to suffer for it. It's a right thing. Okay? So where are we at? Isaiah 14:1. Read that.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1.
Go ahead.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
Yeah.
And will yet choose Israel.
Go ahead.
And set them in their own land.
Uh-huh.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
Right. So the strangers, y'all going to be in the land. Go ahead.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Go ahead.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Right.
And the house of Israel shall possess them.
Uh-huh.
In the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
Right. So as you're reading this, you have to understand that the nations are going to be punished and be our servants.
God.
Like I said, unless you want to void out the oath, these things that the Most High already said that never happened to the Israelites, right? We never got in our land, and we never were taken from all the lands of the world, and that's going to happen in the future. So this hasn't happened. That's the prophecy. That's what the Most High promised us. Go ahead.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
There you go. So what do we feel about the other nations? What the Bible says. You know, and the thing is that you can be, we're over there in Trinidad right now, and a lot of the Elamites over there, I said it the other day, they still look at you as niggas. They can be black as you and you look at you as a nigga. So when you look at what the white man perpetuated and the nations joined in on the bandwagon, all nations has joined in on this bandwagon and taken over us. Which is, when you go to Trinidad and you look at how they keep the indigenous people of that land down. They give all the contracts, they give all the jobs to, all the real jobs, to the Elamites or the Moabites. And I told y'all the story about the one guy that when we were out there, he's a security guard, and he was telling me he went into the store and he tried to get in a line that was open, but the Chinese guy yelled at him talking about get in line, and he was like, why are you looking at me? Basically the brother was looking at him like, who you yelling at? And he was like, nigga, you didn't hear me? Damn. He told him that. He said, nigga don't hear. He said, get in line. But this is what, in Trinidad, how the Elamites and the Moabites deal with our people. He's like, Chinese, he told him like this. This is what the brother told me. He said, Chinese come to Trinidad and nigga follows. This is what he told him. To where the brother was like, I was like, and what did you say? He was like, I was thinking about taking out my knife, ripping through him, because he's an ex-martial arts, ex-military. He said, I just looked at him. He said, and you know what? He said in front of everybody, you know what? You're right. The niggas do follow, because all Israelites were in one line, and they heard all this. And none of them got up and were like, I'm dropping my stuff and leaving. They all stood there and heard that. You know, but once again, when you say Elamites and Moabites and Hamites and all these, all these nations, they partook in it in some way. Right? And they believe with the white man. Don't deal with the niggas. Why? Because they're gonna make your wife smoke weed and they're gonna beat her. Because that's the imagery that was put on when you go to China. What is it, China? It's one of the Asian countries to where they look at the so-called black man like you're an anomaly. Like, wow. That's Japan. Yeah, they look at you like, wow. I never seen like your spectacle.
See little kids want to rub on your kids.
Yeah, they want to rub on you, or and some just stand back like they're amazed because what the white man has told them. Listen, our own people are like that. Let's not get it twisted. When you look at the 9.5s, they be like that with their own people.
Those Salvadorians.
Yeah, the niggas can be black as you, and they what? They hate their own color. So you got to understand why a lot of our people are going to die. Yeah, a lot of Israelites are going to die too. But remember, the salvation is for Israel, going back to Obadiah. So, I mean, hopefully that gives you a little understanding. Then you can write down Isaiah the 60th chapter yourself. You can write down Isaiah the 29th chapter and Isaiah the 34th chapter. These are promises. It says their sons will come bending, that they're going to lick up the dust of your feet, like to the Israelites. That's the promises that will happen because the other nations join in with the so-called white man. And it tells you right once here back in Obadiah, for the day of the Lord is near upon all heathen, and thou, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. What reward? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And you ask, when were we in captivity under the other nations? Better go read your biblical history. Because we were under captivity under all nations. Okay? So, back to the reading. We got something else on the topic?
Yeah, I was just saying, how did the Elamites enslave Israelites?
Go back. You got to go back to the Babylonians, the Persians and the Medes. The Persian and Mede Empire enslaved us in 538 BC. Okay, so they had us in captivity. Go back during the time of Daniel. That was the Elamites. The Elamites and what they call today the sons of Japheth, which were the Pacific Islanders. They had us in captivity. So, yes, all nations had us in captivity. It started out with the Assyrian Empire. They had us in captivity. I mean, if you want to go before them, well, let's start with the Assyrian, which is a typical, specifically Israel. The Assyrians had us in captivity. Then the Babylonians had us in captivity. The Babylonians are who? The Ethiopians. Then the Persian and Medes was a joint empire that had us in captivity. Okay, which were partly Elamites. Then the Persian and Medes. Then the Greeks. Then the Romans. Go back to Daniel's the 7th chapter. It tells you what kingdoms what mighty kingdoms those were. So, yes, they had us in captivity. Okay? All right, where were we at on the reading?
Verse 17.
Okay, so verse 17. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance.
I'm sorry, verse 19.
Okay, so verse 19. Yes, and they of the south shall possess the mount. Oh, we read that too. Verse 20. And the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarithapah, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. And saviors shall come on Mount Zion, to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. Okay, so that's it on that. I'm going to go over to Hebrews 11 and 11. Hebrews 11 and 11. What's up?
No, I'm playing the timeline.
Yeah. All the nations?
No, it's just, well, it goes into it, just everything from Abraham.
Right, right.
Yeah, nations.
Hebrews 11 and 11 here. And remember, if y'all got any questions outside of class, get them prepared, because if not, we're just going to end class after the reading. All right? Hebrews 11 and 11 down to verse 20. It says here, through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. It says, these all died in faith, did not having received the promise, talking about Israel, but having seen having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims of the earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of the country from whence they came out, they might have opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is a heavenly. Wherefore the Most High is not ashamed to be called their power, for he hath prepared for them a city. Talking about the kingdom, right? Talking about the kingdom, talking about it. That kingdom, we would have entered into it back then, right? But we didn't do it with faith. A lot of us died. Actually, it was only Joshua and Caleb that entered in. So we would have, but it wasn't prepared for us because our hearts wasn't right. So the Most High is coming back to remind us that how we lost that city, being faithless. It says, by faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promise offered up his only begotten. So now the scriptures is reminding us what? How was Abraham found faithful? Willing to lose, willing to sacrifice, willing to give up. A lot of Israel don't understand how you're going to make it into the kingdom. This isn't hearsay. This is for real. It was us having to lose, having to give up, having to let go. But a lot of brothers and sisters are choosing this kingdom for your kingdom. Well, you got your reward. Our kingdom is supposed to be this kingdom come. You understand? What's that, sis?
I was just going to say, because Abraham was so faithful when he was tried, he never wavered. He never doubted.
Right.
So the sacrifice was easy for him.
Yeah.
Having the faith in the Most High.
Right. And ready to give his only begotten up. Okay, well, which was symbolic. It was also symbolic because we know the only begotten would be Christ, right? Go ahead. Oh, I'm reading. What's that?
Nah, just about, Abraham's mind frame, because he sacrificed his own thoughts, what he thought he should be doing, what he thought that his life should go. No, he put that down and did what the Most High wanted him to do. I think about it even yesterday when it talks about the mark of the beast, because it's the mind frame of how someone thinks. That's what it's not the physical, it's the mental. It's what's going on in your medulla.
Yeah, no, that's right on point, because a lot of people don't see, man. Israel doesn't see. It's not coming your way. You don't just get to sit back bury your talents. He gives you many parables to show you. You don't just get to sit back, get the word of the Most High, and then be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to still live my life as an American. You don't understand. It's us building our kingdom. We keep saying it. We beat it into the earth. And those that have an ear to hear, they will hear. He that saved his life shall lose it. You worried about your little life here, you're going to lose your life in this time. And then you're going to lose your spirit anyway. Right? Because he that buried his talent, the Most High is going to cast him into outer darkness. Okay? So, how did Abraham get it? How did our forefathers, how were they blessed? Not the Israelites that were stubborn, stiff-necked, and didn't see. We know how they didn't receive it. Because they weren't really willing to be faithful. Once again, this is not a religion. This is supposed to be a lifestyle. Right? The way we think, the way we move, the way we believe is according to the righteous forefathers. Okay? Of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called, according that the Most High was able to raise him up, even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. So you'll hear that a lot. In a figure. He resurrected in a figure. It was symbolic to what Christ was going to do. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. All right, so we're going to jump over to Matthew 26, verse 36. Matthew 26, verse 36. All right, it says here, and I'm going to read down to verse 46. It says, Then cometh Yahushua with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and said unto the disciples, Sit here, while I go to pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then said he unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here, and watch with me. So how does this correlate with the reading? Because look at how the servants of the Most High, the ones that we were given the promise, had to give up. Look at Christ, how he had to give up. A lot of brothers and sisters don't want to go through the sorrowful. They don't want to go through the pain and the suffering. They don't want to go through despising the shame. They want to go through, I'm comfortable, I got my wife, my kids, my family, my white picket fence, and I'm good. Most High ain't called you for that. You got that. You got that anywhere in the world, right? What person don't live in the world and just survive? You got that in the world. Yeah. But what were you supposed to do with all these things? Well, that's why the reading is going this way, to show you about Abraham, Isaac. It's showing you about what Christ had to do to be called the son on the right, to be given the majesty, right? He had to give up. He had to lose. He had to suffer. Go ahead. Oh, I'm reading. See? All right. Verse what? 39. And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. See? Why? Brothers always want the cup to pass. I don't have to do that. This is not the truth. That's not part of that's not an equation that I have to be in the truth. You keep playing with yourself. Keep deceiving yourself. Israel, you don't want to lose that rib. You don't want to lose those kids. You don't want to make it uncomfortable for them. Well, you got your reward. Be happy. Because that is not going to last you. That's not going to last you here and now. The Most High is going to take that joy away from you. Because he that saved his life shall lose it. Period, point blank. You got to get your priorities right, man. And this is what it's showing. If Christ had to go through it, right? You're going to have to go through it. We're going to have to go through it. And he cometh unto the disciples and findeth them asleep, and saith unto Peter, Could ye not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that ye enter not into temptation, for the spirit indeed is weak, but the but the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. That's in the spirit, showing you that you're going to be tempted too, right? But why don't you want to move forward in the spirit? Why you don't want to give all up for Christ? Because the flesh is weak. But the spirit, if you move into the spirit, just like the brother's class yesterday, if you move on the spirit after what the Most High said for you to do, right, the Most High will strengthen you. He went away again the second time and prayed, saying, "Oh my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done." See, he wasn't about himself. He was about his people, his nation. You understand? He was about building he was worried about the Most High's will. He was worried about his people. He was worried about the sick. He was worried about the deaf, the deaf, the blind. You know what I mean? All that. He was worried about that. You got to think about it. What are you worried about? We beat this into y'all heads. Like you are not going to say you weren't told what you had to lose and what you had to give up. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them and went away again and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then cometh he to his disciples and saith unto them, "Sleep on now, and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. Let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doeth betray me." Amen. Amen. So, any questions on that?
You got one question on
Any questions on that?
Yeah, it says, if Ethiopians are the Babylonians, how does America, Babylon the Great, relate to the Ethiopians? What do they have in common other than putting our people into captivity?
Okay, they must have missed that part, huh?
Yes.
You must have just got online because we just literally went over all of that. Huh? Oh, Allison? Oh, okay. Yeah, you missed, we were just talking about that. But to reiterate, go back to Psalms 137 and 7. So, remember, all these kingdoms, these characteristics of these kingdoms, from the Assyrian Empire all the way up to the latter empire, they all did something common, which is defy the Most High, which were wicked, and put themselves up against the sons of God. So, but it gets a little more in depth when you talk about Edom and Babylon. It's going to tell us. Go ahead.
Psalms 137 and verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom.
Right, so we know who the Edomites are. They're a whole different nation. Go ahead.
In the day of Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
Who said, raise it.
Right, because the Most High is remembering them. We just read that in Obadiah. He's remembering that they weren't for us, they were against us. Go ahead.
Raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
Go ahead.
O daughter of Babylon.
Oh what?
O daughter of Babylon.
Why? Babylon, Edomites don't have nothing to do with Ethiopians. They're a different nation in that sense. But why is it calling them the daughter? Well, go to Revelations 18. Why is it calling them the daughter? Revelations 18, and you're going to read verse spiritually, it's I think it's Revelations 18. It says, which is spiritually spiritually called Sodom. I thought it was in Revelation. Let me find it real quick.
Revelation
11. Pardon me. Wrong chapter. Flip over to Revelations 11. Right. 11 and 8. So now let's just understanding why they call it the daughter of Babylon. What do they have in common? It's going to tell us here. Go ahead. Somebody read that?
Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
Right? So their dead bodies is talking about the righteous. Our dead bodies lie in the street of the great city. Go ahead.
Which spiritually.
Which is what?
Which spiritually.
Which is what?
Spiritually.
Which is what?
Spiritually.
Why is Edom the daughter of Babylon? Because they're spiritually known by these names. Babylon. What else? Read.
It's called Sodom.
Right. Go ahead.
And Egypt.
And Egypt. So they're also known as Egypt, house of bondage. So these are spiritual names that America, the Edomites, have taken on. Characteristics, ideas, philosophies, doctrine, everything, literally everything comes from Babylon. Right? From all the gods, right? Christmas, right? Halloween. Even though the Greeks and the Romans started to adopt these things and turn them into Greco gods, all that comes from Babylon. Witchcraft, right? All that comes from Babylon. Okay? Go ahead.
Where also our Lord was crucified.
Right. So our Lord wasn't crucified in Babylon. Our Lord was crucified in Jerusalem, right? Well, but spiritually, he's crucified where? In Babylon, right? He's crucified here. He's put on the cross and the lies are told about him, right? The falsehood is told about him. He's crucified that way. So it's spiritual that Edom is the daughter of Babylon. They follow the customs and the beliefs of this of Babylon the Great. Okay. All right. So there was one more. Hold on. Just on that question, I want to see if I want to hit this real quick. Yeah, Isaiah 47 verse 1. Isaiah 47 verse 1. Just on this comparison, spiritual thing, all right? Remember, because like I said earlier, when you read Isaiah the 14th chapter, it says it's referring to Babylon. When you read here, referring to Babylon. But it gives you little nuances in the scriptures to show you that this is talking about a greater kingdom, okay? Because we know Babylon is gone, all right? Babylon is gone. It's out of the way. But these prophecies of what they're doing and did still are followed by this kingdom we're in now. So read that.
Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon.
Go ahead.
Sit on the ground.
Right.
There is no throne.
Read.
O daughter of the Chaldeans.
O what?
O daughter of the Chaldeans.
Right. So when you look at this Babylon, they're the daughter of the Chaldeans. Okay? Why? Because Chaldeans were known for witchcraft, sorcery. So, once again, it's showing you, no, you're not the mother, you're the daughter. You follow after the customs of this kingdom. And that's what America does. They follow after the customs of the Chaldeans, the Babylonians, Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Faggots, lesbians, homosexuality, witchcraft, falsehood, right? All these things. Go ahead.
But thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
Right.
Take the millstones and grind milk.
Right. So take the millstone and grind the mill, meaning that it's time for them to be brought down and for them to work. Right? Going back to that Isaiah 14, right? They're going to be servants. Isaiah 29, they shall come bending unto you and lick up the dust of your foot. They're going to be slaves. Go ahead.
Uncover thy locks.
Go ahead.
Make bare the leg.
Right. So America, Babylon, the daughter, right, is being seen for what she really is. Go ahead.
Uncover the thigh.
Uh-huh.
Pass over the rivers.
Go ahead.
Thy nakedness shall be uncovered.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, thy shame shall be seen.
Right. So the America is being seen. And little by little, the shame of America, the falsehood is starting to be revealed. Oh, they lied about this. All the secret CIA files, they had part of this. They were corrupt over here. They funded the Taliban. They did, syphilis, tests with syphilis and drugs. Cocaine was pumped through the black communities. That's coming out now. So everybody's seeing their shame. Go ahead.
Thy nakedness shall be uncovered.
Uh-huh.
Yea, thy shame shall be seen.
Right.
I will take vengeance.
Right.
I will not meet thee as a man.
Read.
As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name.
Read.
The Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness.
Go ahead.
O daughter of the Chaldeans.
Go ahead.
For thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms.
So, once again, right now, who's the Lady of Kingdoms? Not the Chaldeans. It's America. It goes right back to Revelations, the whore that sits on many waters. It goes right back to there. This kingdom right now is in power. Okay? All right, so you got to remember, when John the Revelator wrote Revelations, right? What empire was in? Huh? Yeah. Babylonian Empire been gone and dead. You understand? So why is he talking about the great whore, Babylon the Great? It's gone. Babylon was way gone. Why is he saying Babylon the Great? Because he's saying the great confusion, which was what? Rome, the Greco-Roman Empire, right? And we know who they are, right? You understand? So, yeah, Babylon was way gone. There was no reason for him to, but he's using symbolism of this kingdom. Remember, he's not going to write Rome. He's not going to write, why? Because then they would have they would have found this, bro, and ripped it up. They would have destroyed this. Oh, this is talking about us. We're the wicked people. Let's tear this apart. Let's destroy this. But that Revelations is still there, him being in the Greco-Roman Empire. So what did he do? He sent that Revelations was in code. Yeah. That Revelation was in code, man. So y'all get that, right? All right, so hopefully that answered your question, sis. All right, what else? What other questions we got?
It says, do you practice physical healing for people? I only ask because I haven't heard the subject get brought up in previous videos.
Yeah, the scriptures say through prayer, laying on holy hands. So yeah, we can pray over a brother, lay hands on them, but not from the church perspective. We understand that the Spirit is gonna heal you. Not trying to play, you know what I mean? Play like, I'm finna heal you right this. Yeah. The Most High, he didn't give us that power, and until there's a prophet arise with the power, and you can stand him before many people and show him. As of now, he said, laying on holy hands and the fervent prayer of the righteous. Let's go there real quick. So yeah, we believe in actually, we anoint brothers in the Sabbath class. We say the prayer, anointing prayer over them. We lay on holy hands on them. But we understand that this is not what we learn in religion. That you threw the handkerchief. The spirit of the all you can, and y'all seen it online. We know that that's not happening. That's theatrics. Now I'm not saying that the Most High can't heal you. What they're doing is lies and theatrics is what I'm saying. Yeah. The Most High can heal you, but he tells us how. Where we at?
James chapter 5 verse 16.
James 5 and 16. James 5 and 16.
Verse 16. Confess your faults one to another.
Right.
And pray one for another.
Uh-huh.
That ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much.
Mm-hmm. Right, so the prayer, give me the other one, the laying on hands. So the effectual prayer of the righteous. So we pray for the brother, we pray for the sister. This is going to heal them. The Most High answering those prayers. You know, and then this other one. No, it's in. Yeah, no, but it's in Timothy's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, that was another one. Yeah, you can get that one, but there was another one I was looking. Yeah. Yeah.
It's 1 Timothy 4:14.
Yeah, go ahead and read that.
1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 14. Neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy, with the laying on of the hands of the presbytery.
Right.
Verse 15. Meditate upon these things.
Right. So, yeah, we lay hands on brothers. We lay hands on brothers righteously. And, you know, we pray over them. So, yeah, we do believe in that. That's in the scriptures. But once again, not to the theatrics of Christianity, and knowing that our prayer, the fervent prayer of the righteous, is going to heal that. You know, that's it. All right, what else? That's it? That's it with questions? We'll give y'all a few seconds if y'all got any more questions. And then we're going to go ahead and conclude class. We're going to go out and do our street speaking. Where is the address on there?
The street speaking location is going to be 10510 Beechnut Street, Houston, Texas.
Yeah. So that's where we at for the street speaking. If y'all want to, of course, brothers that are here, ready to go out. But whoever else is local, we're going to be out there. We'll give y'all a few seconds. All right? We'll give y'all a few seconds for your questions. So get them in, because we're going to go ahead and finish up here. If y'all got anything, give y'all a few seconds while we do that. Just a reminder to everybody, Hanukkah is from the 10th, from the 11th to the 18th. We will not be having class during that week. So don't think we disappeared off the face of the earth. We'll be right back after we commemorate the High Holy Day. If you want to come join us in that holy convocation, please so do, okay? All right, what else? Any questions? All right, we cut off a little early last night, and some questions came in at the end. We'll just wait a second. Does anybody got anything in here? Anything? None? Okay. If y'all want to if y'all want to help out the school getting alms, the information is always at the bottom of the screen. You could do that. All right. Check. Oh, what I didn't announce earlier. Check out our Blog Talk Radio, which is blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba, and they do that every day. Okay. All right. Nothing? All right. Well, let's salute on my line. Say shalom, y'all.
Shalom.
And we'll see y'all Monday. Let's finish up these prayers. Let's go do this. We got Ray. Ray is sick. He's at home. But Lucky brothers. Show.